Most people are learning skills the wrong way. Most people are stuck in a cycle of endless tutorials, outdated advice, and giving up just before a breakthrough. But you don't have to be like most people. By tapping into how your brain actually learns and using science-backed methods, you can master any skill at lightning speed. Forget slow. Forget average. In this video, we're breaking down the best methods to help you learn anything as fast as humanly possible. Let's dive in. If you've ever tried to learn something new, you've probably followed the classic routine: sit, watch, and hope it sticks. You watch tutorials, read books, or listen to podcasts, thinking, yeah, I totally get this. But then when it's time to actually apply it, you freeze. Your mind goes blank. You realize you still don't know what to do. Why? The problem is simple. Passive learning feels productive, but it's an illusion. Think about the last time you learned something difficult. Let's do another challenge from me. Only 1% of viewers will be able to pass it. The rules are simple. You need to test your brain. How does it react to the rapid absorption of information from a video? You need to put the video on high speed and listen to it until the end. Are you ready to pass the test? Did it happen when you rewatched the same tutorial for the 10th time? Probably not. It happened when you were forced to figure something out on your own. This is because of a concept called desirable difficulty. When learning feels too easy, your brain doesn't actually grow. But when it feels hard, when you're forced to think, struggle, and make mistakes, that's when real growth happens. It's uncomfortable, it's intense, but it's also 10 times faster than passive learning. Here's a fact that sounds too simple to be true. You learn faster by testing yourself than by reviewing information. This is called active recall. When you force your brain to retrieve information instead of just reviewing it, your brain works 10 times harder, locking in that knowledge like a mental save file. Research proves it. In one study, students who reviewed notes performed worse than students who tested themselves. Self-testing triggers memory retrieval, which signals to your brain, this information is important, don't forget it. How to apply this? Stop rereading notes or rewatching lessons. Instead, constantly test yourself. Learning guitar? After memorizing a chord, look away from the chart and try playing it from memory. Studying for an exam? Quiz yourself or try to recall what you just read instead of rereading the textbook. Only 5% of viewers were able to like and subscribe to the channel before the time expired. Are you ready? 1, 2, 3. Done. Whoever has completed everything will find themselves and the love of their life. Because if you're not being tested, you're not really learning. Most people think learning is about collecting information. But knowledge is useless until it's applied. The goal isn't to know everything before you start. The goal is to start immediately. Use what you learn in practice and fill in the gaps as you go. You don't need to memorize every chess strategy to start playing. You learn one, try it out, fail, and adjust. This speeds up learning because you're not wasting time on unnecessary theory that you'll forget anyway. 2. The power of feedback loops. If you've ever found yourself grinding away at a new skill but not improving, you're not alone. No matter how many hours you put in, your skill level stays stuck. And the worst part? You don't know why. This is where feedback loops come in. Feedback loops are like a steering wheel without them. You can be as consistent as you want, but if you're heading in the wrong direction, all that effort is wasted. A feedback loop is a simple cycle: action, result, analysis, adjustment. If you've ever played a video game, you've seen this in action. You press a button, action, your character jumps, result, you realize it was too slow, analysis, so next time you press it earlier, adjustment. There are two main types of feedback loops. A feedback loop is a simple cycle: action, result, analysis, adjustment. Positive feedback loops reinforce behaviors. If you see success, you're more likely to repeat the same action. For example, hitting a bullseye in archery gives you a jolt of satisfaction, reinforcing whatever you just did. Negative feedback loops correct mistakes. If you mess up, you get an alert and realize, okay, that wasn't it. It's not punishment, it's information. The more you engage with this type of feedback, the faster you adapt. Why feedback matters. Without feedback, you're flying blind. You have no idea if what you're doing is working, and you might even be reinforcing bad habits. The biggest mistake learners make? Avoiding feedback. Why? Because it's uncomfortable. No one wants to hear that their singing is off-key or that their writing is full of mistakes. But avoiding feedback is the #1 reason people stay bad at things. People say, I've been doing this for years, but I'm still not good. Often, it's because they've been practicing the wrong way, without feedback. How to get faster feedback. Record yourself. Watching your own performance instantly reveals mistakes. Get external feedback. Ask an expert to review your work and provide specific advice. Use deliberate practice. Focus on one aspect at a time, creating mini feedback loops with every attempt. The faster you get feedback, the faster you learn. The 80/20 rule of learning. Ever wonder why some people master new skills ridiculously fast while others stay stuck for months? Here's the secret. They don't try to learn everything. Most people assume that more information equals faster progress. So they watch more tutorials, read more books, and follow every guide they can find. But this leads to information overload. Your brain gets overwhelmed, struggling to separate important details from useless fluff. The 80/20 rule Pareto principle states that 80% of results come from 20% of efforts. This rule applies to everything. 20% of vocabulary allows you to understand 80% of a language. 20% of guitar techniques lead to 80% of improvement. 20% of coding skills solve 80% of programming problems. To learn a skill fast, identify the key 20% of actions, concepts, or techniques that deliver the biggest impact. Focus exclusively on them. Ignore everything else, at least for now. 4. Learn from experts. Would you rather climb Mount Everest with a group of beginners or a team of expert mountaineers? The answer is obvious. The same applies to learning any skill. You improve faster when you surround yourself with experts. Experts are more than just skilled people. They're cheat codes. They shorten your learning curve, expose you to methods you wouldn't think of, and, most importantly, show you what you're doing wrong. The biggest challenge in self-learning is blind spots, mistakes you don't even realize you're making. A beginner guitarist might struggle for months without knowing what's wrong. Then, a professional watches for 30 seconds and says, "Your fingers are too flat on the fret. Tilt them slightly." Instant improvement. Learning alone means guesswork. You try, fail, try again, and hope for the best. Experts eliminate this process, giving you a proven roadmap. Being around experts also creates positive pressure. When everyone around you is better, you push yourself harder to keep up. The bottom line, if you want to master any skill fast, seek out experts, get feedback, and apply the 80/20 rule.
I don't think you'll be able to click on the next video before time runs out. 3, 2, 1, you lose.